Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For support of Oracle cards, sit in my chair a little right here. Wisdom of the House of Night. Here in the back is who created that. I can hold that still for a second. If you look up Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards, though, online, you will see who that's from if you want that deck. We're going to do relationship first, single second, one more. Cancer, right? Yeah. I like that for Cancer. That looks good. It's all... it's all over there. No, leave that alone. Okay. It's all over there, and what I mean by that is it's all, something's going on with your partner here. I don't feel like it's anything bad for your relationship, but I do feel like they're struggling with something that's really upsetting them. I'm worried that they're not communicating it with you, because whatever's going on, the challenge card for your partner is the Queen of Wands. Don't get caught up in the gender, but this is a very active, emotional, can be very emotional, but in a good way, a very, driven to get it done. This needs to be taken care of. This sheet has not been completed. It needs to be completed. Let's get to it. Let's get in there and do it. If you're not going to do it, I'm just going to do it myself. That type of attitude. This is face down. So there's something, this is a challenge, this is the challenge. They feel like they can handle something on their own. And they're trying to take care of it themselves, but I feel like this is causing a bit of stress, and it doesn't feel healthy to me. In the sense of, it's really, here's why, just to be fair. In their spiritual spot, they have the Ten of Swords. So something is this is really heart-wrenching for them, really upsetting for them. They want to take care of it all on their own. They feel like everything will be fine, everything will be okay if they just handle it on their own. But fulfillment face down is telling me it's kind of by keeping it to themselves, they think it works out better. I don't feel like that's true because I'm getting this pain here. This is really heart-wrenching for them. Whatever they're dealing with is very upsetting. These are also in the spiritual spot. They're also face down. They're losing something. They're definitely losing something. There's something here around them that they're losing hold of. At the very least, it's something where they see the timer is counting down, and there's not much there, and there's something they're gonna have to let go of. And it's causing them a lot of anguish. It could be even a friendship that they see moving away from them. It could be a friendship when I'm connecting to this on their side. Someone is doing something that's not good. It's either some type of behavior. I am seeing a drug connection for some people, so I'm just going to throw that out there. They're seeing this person going into a bad area, emotionally just not doing well. For others, it's other things. But it's definitely something they're about to lose is what I'm getting. And the letting go is telling me, especially when I'm connecting to that drug connection, it's a friend of your partner's, is kind of what I'm connecting to. Is clearly that's not going to hit for everybody, but for those who it does, it's kind of they have to accept that they can't live this person's life for them. They can't just handcuff them to their wrist and just keep them from making bad decisions. The let go is saying they can try to help. They can be there when they want. They can be there here and there. They just can't live this person's life for them. And if they're insistent on making these decisions, that's the let go. They have to let them do what they're going to do because they can't live their life for them. That's hard, and that's the Ten. That would make sense with Ten of Swords for me because that's completely devastating. Because I feel them loving somebody, caring about somebody, and not being able to help them. No matter how much they want to, they just literally they can't. They want to though. That's the biggest part. And they're feeling like all they have to do is keep trying. All they have to do is keep going towards it and keep trying, and it'll be okay. But this is face down. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, whatever the problem is they're dealing with, there's a long-standing history with it. So, granted, it's not the drug thing for everybody, but whatever it is with your partner, it could even be a family connection with someone who's just toxic, and they're constantly trying to help this person and try and get this person to, just be a little bit more cordial, maybe. But it's a long-standing problem either way. So they're constantly trying to deal with this. They're constantly trying to handle it on their own. They're trying to not bring it towards you. And I feel like one of the reasons they're not bringing it towards you, which seems to make it even harder for them, is because you're a truthful sounding board. I actually feel that's what the problem is. And that's not even a problem. I feel like the problem's more on their side. Like, they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear that it's not going to work. They don't want to hear that they're going to have to let it go. That, they can't fix this situation for this person. They don't want that reality. They love that person. Like, when you love somebody, you just want to care for them. You want to help them. You don't want to let them go. Because you're afraid if you let go, they could really hit devastation. It really is terrifying for your partner. That Ten of Swords is no joke. But you might be, and I feel like for a lot of you, whatever the situation is, you're that truthful sounding board. Kind of like, if they're choosing to do that, you can't stop them. They have to choose to fix it themselves. You can support that if they choose to. You can't do it for them. And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. That's just the bottom line of it. The thing is, I think it's good that you feel that way. I think it's really good for a partnership that you're being honest about that. And I feel like that's why they're avoiding you. With this subject. They have the Page of Swords on their side. You have the Seven of Swords on your side. You're not completely oblivious to this, and I feel like this probably makes complete sense. For those of you this is hitting with, you know exactly what the situation is. Right off the bat, you know exactly what it's about if this reading is connecting with you. And you're just kind of like, you know what? Talking myself blue in the face is just going to get me to pass out. It's not going to do anything else. So I'm just going to leave it there. I've already said my 2 cents. My partner knows where I stand with this. It is what it is. I don't really like... And I feel like you might be even standing here kind of like, I don't even like my partner a part of that situation. I wish they would just leave it alone because it makes me nervous. But they're going to do what they're going to do. Your partner has the Page of Swords, kind of like they're just waiting to see... Like, they're more receptive, but they're kind of, like, trying to keep you away from it. They're trying to see if you're catching on to what's going on there. They're just kind of more, like, just keeping it over to the side. They're hoping you don't really see what's going on. You're not saying anything, so they feel like they're getting away with dealing with it on their own. It's just a weird moment, in my opinion, because you're kind of like, what's the use in beating a dead horse, because they're not really listening to me, or they're not taking my information to heart, and they're not changing direction with that. Meanwhile, they're kind of like watching, like, are you going to leave me alone and just let me handle this? That seems to be their energy. You're going to leave me alone and just let me handle this? They do feel like they're going to be okay, and they're going to make a big turnaround with it. I don't really feel like that's going to happen, but they might make themselves believe that that's happening. I don't really feel like that's actually happening, though. The challenge card for you is to not stand so staunchly with your opinion that it pushes off your partner, that it pushes them back. Have your opinion, stand with your opinion, but not to, like, push it. Like, if they ask, give it, they know where you stand. That's the thing. But to not aggressively push it forward, I feel like that's hard because you're very heartfelt and you're just like, I don't think this is good for you to be a part of. And I feel your energy going that way. Like, I don't think this is good for you to be a part of. But, like, realizing that that's not getting anything anywhere. Standing and, having your opinion and keeping it, but just, like, not pushing it forward unless, your opinion is asked for because your partner knows how you feel. I feel like that might be tricky. I think it makes sense, though. I think it does make sense, though. You know what I mean? Your partner knows how you feel. If the subject comes up and they ask you for your opinion or, something like that, giving your opinion and just reiterating, I'm still standing in the same spot. But, like, bringing up the subject or trying to push your opinion forward when your partner's not asking for it, they're saying don't do that because they know exactly how you feel. They don't think you've changed your mind. They're not going to think you changed your mind. That's the challenge, because I feel like you want to push it forward, kind of like, will you leave that alone? Will you step away from that? Because it makes me nervous. I don't think you should be a part of that. I don't feel like that person helps your life. Because you care about your partner, and that's why. It makes sense why, but they're saying it's not making things better for you or your partner at this point. Now, pointing the finger. What's that about? Don't point the finger. Resist that too with this. Pointing the finger, like you know what's going on, and pointing the finger like, this is why that's happening, this is why that's happening, this person did this, you did that. Don't point. Be careful with that. Like pointing blame, because I'm getting that pointing finger, pointing blame. Be careful of that. If that person did what they were supposed to, or if you did this, or if that did that, be careful. Because I feel like for some of you that this is connecting for, this might be the biggest part of this reading, why this is coming forward to you. Resist pointing the finger. Doesn't matter that you're right. It's just going to get you more opposition. It's going to make it just more difficult for you. You're not going to enjoy it. And it's not going to have the effect you want it to. So they're like, resist that. Resist that. Because, okay. You've got the Magician here, and you've got the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is saying, with you and your partner, things are good. There's a lot here. You're very happy. With you and your partner, things are good. They're just saying, the Magician card with where you stand, don't create discord between you and your partner over somebody else's mess. Your partner has already made up their mind. They're going to try to help that person. They care about that person. There's honest emotions. They feel like they have to do that. Don't let somebody else's problems create any more problems with you. Don't pull those problems in so that you are having a rough time in your relationship. See it going on and know that it's happening. But, leave that subject over where it is. Don't create discord in your own relationship. You've made your opinion clear. I feel like your opinion, at this point, if this reading is hitting, of course, your opinion is clear. Your partner knows where you stand. They're saying just don't pull that energy any more into your relationship than it has to be. Let the sleeping dogs lie for now, because your partner's trying to handle it quietly. I feel like the harsh reality of it is coming forward at some point anyway. The less animosity there is between the two of you, the easier it is going to be for them to heal when that falls, because it feels like it's, I don't think they're going to be successful fixing that, especially with that Ace of Pentacles, with the letting go. I feel like they're saying, what's been is what's going to happen. Like, it's like the stage is already set, and the outcome, I oddly enough think this is saying like what's been set up to happen. It's like somebody heading towards a cliff. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles is like, you're heading towards that cliff and you're going to go off it, and that's the other person. Like it's set in motion. Like, I don't know I know that seems very strange with the Ace, but it's kind of like, feels like this is already set. And it does feel like, the consequence. I feel like this is saying the consequence is about to start another phase in that person's life. And I feel like that's what it's saying. It's like the consequence that it's going to hold on for a long time. The consequence for what they're doing is going to last for a long time. And I feel like that's what the Ace of Pentacles is about. It's usually more of an uplifting card, I'll give you that, but it doesn't feel it with the let go, especially connected with the Ten of Swords. It doesn't feel that way. Now, this is going on for a while. I see things getting better between you and your partner. I actually feel that influence around them that's causing this discord, it is moving on. It's going to have to. And ironically, when it moves on, it makes things better between you and your partner. That's clear. But the Ten of Cups is telling me, and I know it's the Ten of Cups. This is a really strange feel, though. But you'll notice that the people, you see the back of them, and they seem very dark. It's like a dark blessing, kind of like the situation is moving on, and they can't. There's nothing left for them to do, and they have to accept that. It's going to hit this part where there's just nothing left for them to do, and that's just the end of it. It's a dark blessing, is kind of what I'm getting. Like, things get better for them. Like, the weight is lifted. It's weird that that's the Ten of Cups, especially when it's coming in with the Empress. Like, I feel like when it finally plays out, and whoever they're trying to help, I don't feel death going on there. So I feel like for example, if it's the drug thing, like this person is gonna have some jail time, like there's gonna be, you know what I mean, dark blessing, something like that. I don't feel like there's like bad in the sense of like termination, you know, but I do feel like there's gonna be some type of repercussion where they literally are in a place where they it's out of their hands now, you know what I mean. And I feel like your partner's looking at it, well, kind of like, well, you know, now things are changed. Now there's nothing for them to do. Now the other shoe is dropped, and now they're getting, you know, they're just desserts to that other person. I don't know what that means. It seems a little strange. But like the situation has to move forward. It's a dark blessing. I feel like that lifts a lot of responsibility off your partner, and now they can't really do what they did before. And I'm seeing you with the star card kind of like, well, now this is my chance to slowly pull that energy away from that, because I feel like you want your partner to permanently disconnect from whatever that is. It's a weird card. Like, it feels better in the sense, but it's also like a dark blessing. Like, kind of like what they were trying to help their this person they care about avoid, but wall met the wall head face first met the wall face first. There you go. But it makes things easier. It releases the burden. You feel better about it too. You're like, well, this is my chance to really get them to disconnect from them. And I feel like once the other shoe drops, you and your partner, things get really close between you and your partner. I feel like your partner's upset about it, but they seem to be accepting, like they knew it was going to happen, or they knew it was a good chance it was going to happen at the very least. And I feel like they have to disconnect from that energy. They just have no choice but to disconnect from that energy. And they reconnect with you when that happens. And I'm feeling like, especially if you didn't do the point and finger thing, especially if that didn't happen, they just get closer with you and they spend more time with you because they don't want to think about that. And that's fine because there's nothing left for them to do. And I feel them connecting with you after this a lot stronger, and just trying to leave that in the past. I don't feel like that's even a conversation that needs to happen after that happens. You know, after it moves on, just it's more about the two of you and what you want from your relationship, and that is what that was, and just leaving that in the past and just kind of moving on. And I feel like you're trying to move the energy forward too, kind of like, yeah, let's see if we can completely disconnect from that. I don't know if you're going to get that far with it, but you're going to try, is what I'm getting, because you don't like that energy. So you're trying to disconnect it as much as possible so that there's not that harsh bond anymore. That doesn't feel good for your partner. Or at least to you, it doesn't seem like it's a positive thing for your partner. Alright, I think we're good. So I feel like what they're saying is a lot's going on with your partner. They're saying just be careful how you relate to the situation. Don't do the point finger thing. I feel like there's going to be a moment for, especially for a couple of you, you're not seeing it coming, but there's going to be a moment that happens and the need to point fingers like this person did that, this person did that. If you can resist that, it just makes this better and easier when you come back together. It's more enjoyable. Otherwise, there could be a little bit of tension there. It could kind of shorten that moment. So, all right, I think we're good with that. All right, that was a very expressive reading. It went on for a second. Let's put these over here. Let's do messages for single cancers. What do we have for single cancers? All right, messages for single cancers. What do we have for single cancers? Oh. We got the 3 of Wands and we got the 4 of Wands popping right over to the side. It feels like that needs to stay out. So, I don't always keep them, but it depends. This time it feels like it really is necessary. The 4 of Wands, or the 3 of Wands leading into the 4 of Wands. And it feels like it's the other person already. Well, that would make sense. You're single, right? I mean, there's other versions of that. Things moving fast. Things moving fast. Ironically, I know I'm saying things moving fast. It's at the end of the reading, though. So, I'm feeling like this might be one of those situations where there's, like, some sexual tension, maybe. There's feelings between people, between you and somebody else, and they're not really being addressed directly until finally they are, and then when they are addressed directly, then things kick off with a bang. Okay. says on it? That says listening, but there's something else there. Alright, so you got the Sun card for where you're standing. The person you're interested in, this is interest, obviously. You feel that this is a really good person. You like this person. You think that they're very stable, very honest. There's a very good feel with that. Like you're looking at this person through, I feel like you're looking at this person through rose-colored glasses. And when you look at this person and you're feeling for this person, clearly you're not with them right now. But you have, the past as the Nine of Pentacles, kind of like, you see a lot of good qualities in this person. You think you match with this person very well. You actually even have the Success card at the bottom here. That's the Six of Wands. It's like a victory card, a success card. It's very strong here. You're having very strong, good feelings. But there's definitely a hitch. There's a hitch. Because I am seeing the Star card with the Page of Wands in the center. Kind of like things are on autopilot. There's hopeful thoughts. Your mind goes there, but I don't see it happening at this point. It's in the center. You're very hopeful, but things seem to be on autopilot. Things are just kind of going along the normal route. Nothing's really going up to the next level. Nothing's really changing from what I get, but you have a lot of feelings for this person. And, excuse me, you got the Two of Swords at the top with the let go. The other person, like, and that makes sense with me. This really makes sense with the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands, because it feels like it's over to the side. It doesn't feel like it's directed at you, but like this person is moving on from a long-standing relationship. Is that right or am I wrong? Not for everybody. For some of you, this person is moving on from a long-standing relationship. For others, like this person is avoiding it for some reason. This person might be the type of person who avoids, either they're walking away from a long-term relationship or they avoid relationships. One of the two. So you have to look at that. Like if this person has been single for a long time, it's because they like to be. And they want to be. They don't really like the idea of a relationship for some reason, or it's just not for them. But if they're coming out of a relationship, like they're on the heels of that, be careful with that. Did they choose to leave, or did they... Like, they're leaving one, but why did it end might be a good reason to find. Like, do they still have feelings for that person, or did they want to leave that situation? You know what I mean? It's one thing to break up with somebody, it's another thing to be broken up with. You know what I mean? So think about that. Look at that closer. And I'm getting you the Two of Swords with the let go. And they're saying, well, see, I'm saying look at it a little closer, because to me it matters. But they're saying let go of it. They're saying don't worry about it. It'll work out. That's very conflicting, because, like, why am I feeling that over here and then feeling it differently up there? I feel like this says a lot, though. I feel like you need to know that information. You know what I mean? I do. Well, they're saying, yeah, you need to know the information, but don't let it stop you from moving forward. Keep it in the back of your mind, but don't let it stop you from moving forward. Don't let it stop the whole train. Keep going. Okay. Because there's success here. There's good energy here. But I'm also feeling like, taking that into account, okay, this makes more sense. The Five of Swords is in the environment. Because whether they've been single for a long time, or they're moving on from a relationship, a long-standing one it feels like, they're not in a spot where they're ready to go forward. Like, either they're very comfortable being single, and they're just kind of like, I don't really want to change that, or they're feeling like, I just got out of a long-term relationship, I don't want to jump into another one. So they got the Five of Swords saying it's like the fruitless wind. It's kind of like they like the energy from you, they like being around you, but I feel like being committed to someone, they're not sold on that thought right now. Not right now. Now, as you keep moving forward, your energy's really good towards them. But they're kind of like, I don't want to get into a relationship for one reason or another. I don't feel like they want to do that. That's the whole thing with this. That's the whole thing with, like, realize why that energy is there. Like, either they're very used to being single, or they just got out of a relationship, they don't want to jump into another one. Just be aware that it's there. Don't let it stop you, but be aware of it. Coming forward next, you have the Four of Cups with the honesty. That is the Four of Cups, right? Yep. Four of Cups with honesty. This is coming up next. There is a conversation that has to happen. If you want anything to come of this, a conversation needs to develop. It has to happen. If you don't bring forth a conversation, you're a duck in the water, nothing's happening. You're just going to sit there, nothing's happening. That's it. So the conversation needs to happen. And granted, they might be the ones starting that conversation. It doesn't feel very likely, but it's possible. But without a conversation, nothing's going to go forward. You got honesty with the Four of Cups, because when the conversation happens, you're going to quickly find out they don't want to be in a relationship right now, for whatever reason. But they feel like the reading here is saying, like, realize what that's about. Like, if they're not really comfortable with being in relationships, it could take them a while before they're actually ready to do that. Again, if they're coming out of a longer one, they just don't want to, get right into another one just yet. So just see it for what it is. And realize it's a passing moment. They have to have time to get used to it. Now, this is face down. You got the Fool card face down, which is telling me this is actually going to keep going forward. You just might not see it. And I feel like you're just going to go on autopilot with it. Kind of like, I have a lot of positive feelings. I really feel for this person. I really like being around this person. I'm just going to hang on and see where it goes. They're saying they don't want to be in a relationship. All right, then we're not in a relationship. But I still want their company. I still want to be around them. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to hang out and just hang around them. The face down is telling me you might not expect to do so. I feel like that's what's going to happen, though. But the Fool card is saying you're not really sure where it's going to go or anything, if anything's going to come from it after that conversation. That's kind of the Four of Cups. Kind of like they're acknowledging that they like you, but they're saying, I don't want to be in a relationship. It's kind of like, well, I like that they like me. I don't like that they don't want to be in a relationship. But at least the honesty came forward, and you're like, maybe I should move on. I do feel like you hang on, though. So you might not be expecting to hang on, but I feel like you do. Okay, so we keep going forward to the last two cards, and that's the Eight of Wands that I was talking about before, where things move quickly. Now, I do feel like things just seem to go on autopilot. Things just seem to go forward quickly. Now, the listening next to the Eight of Wands is telling me it's literally not locking in as an official relationship, but it's starting to have all the outward components of it. Hanging out together, going places together, planning things together, planning events together, going to like events like weddings and things like that together. All that stuff seems to be going in and connecting and keep going and keeps happening. The longer it goes, the more it happens. But I'm getting the listening here with the Eight of Wands, kind of like it's gonna take you really listening to what is going on with this person and why. Like, if they've been single for a long time and they like being single, why? Like, what is it? Because it's like everything else, you have almost everything else at this point when you get to the future. Things seem like they went at a rapid pace. All of a sudden, you're doing everything together. Listen to this person. Try to figure out why is it they like that? What is it they're afraid they're going to lose by being in a relationship? On the other hand, if they're still kind of like, if they're still feeling the pain of moving on from the last relationship, like, what was it about that last relationship that really made them feel unhappy? Did they think things got boring? Did they feel like, they got taken advantage of? Was it just painful to even go home and see this person because they got to a point where they just couldn't stand looking at each other and maybe they had that cold silence thing going on? You got to find out what it is. The listening is telling, like, get them talking, explaining how they feel. Why is it they like being single? Why is it they want that term? Because I feel like at this point, it's pretty much the term. Because I feel like they're kind of committed to you. It's just all the components are there except for the actual title. It's what it feels like to me. And it just takes you getting them to talk it out. What is it they don't like? What is it that makes them feel uncomfortable? And you want to be careful also, you want to keep them talking, because if you keep them talking, they'll figure it out themselves. They'll talk themselves into understanding what they really want. You're more apt to get them to move forward by keeping them talking, because they're going to talk themselves through it. You just listening and just, talking or, getting involved in the conversation slowly here and there, it works better than trying to say, well, I'm different, or this is different, or that's different. If you avoid that and just keep them talking, like, do you feel this is the same? You know what I mean? I know that sounds very psychiatrist, but Do you feel this is the same? Do you feel I do that to you? Do you feel this relationship is going the same way? You know, carefully using that word relationship. And let them talk it out and let them say what they're seeing and what they're feeling, because they feel like they're going to realize, you know, what they have with you is very different from what they're used to or what they preconceived relationships to be like. So, again, at the end of this, I'm not seeing like a committed moment, but I'm seeing like the listening and the talking. Like you listening is basically aiding them to talk, makes this a lot better. It does seem like it's everything but the actual title is where you end up. So that's very interesting. I feel like that's good though. So hopefully that helps out. You know, you want to get them talking. The more you get them talking, the more they're going to sort it out themselves. Better things are going to be for you. All right, I think we're there. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.